I started, out of the blue, I was at Target. I was responsible for digital data science and analytics, supporting the chief digital officer. So one part of my role was, supporting the business, which is the Target digital business. And the second part of my role was building enterprise data products. So as a part of that journey, I was supporting product, I was supporting the business owners. And one of the things I realized is that a lot of the folks are not asking questions. Are not asking the questions, hence they're not able to get to the data. But the other part of the story was, how do I build product teams so that as you're launching these new experiences, we're able to measure them and figure out what's working and then improve and optimize them. Okay. Before that, I was at eBay, did 7 years there. We started the whole practice of experimentation back in 2005. That's when none of the products existed, like Optimizely or any of these products existed. So we started that whole practice ground up. The impetus for that was CFO was saying that, everyone claims to win, but I don't see it in my bottom line and my top line. So can we use a similar yardstick, which is what, drove that. So even there, I was spending time with business owners. And the main thing I realized is that business owners are struggling to drive decisions in most cases because they don't have the question clearly formulated, or they want to get to the data, but it needs further deep dive analysis, so on and so forth, in order to get there.
I like what you said about understanding the questions you're actually trying to answer with data, because I'm actually on that journey with 2 startups right now, like setting up data analytics from scratch. And the first thing I try to tackle with them is get clarity and then prioritize what questions they are really trying to answer. Because I think everybody just says, oh, we should just understand where all the users come from, and we should just be data driven, and we need to have a 360-degree view of the customer, or all of these kind of vague terms. And then I'm like, okay, but what does it mean? Right? So then we kind of really drive deep and just pick 3 questions to focus on. And based on that, pick the right tool to visualize that. And it's funny what you say about dashboards, because I feel like there's a moment going on right now that everybody's hating dashboards. I don't know what happened, but nobody likes dashboards anymore.
Yeah. No, I think the dashboard story is that dashboards are great if you are a power user, you exactly know, you understand the business and you understand the data, in which case, the cheat sheet of how to get to that insight. But not everyone has that cheat sheet, and everyone is lost, because A, they don't understand the business, or they don't understand the data. And data itself is, it's like, I think of it as a Rubik's Cube, right? In most cases, unless you're able to kind of understand the Rubik's Cube and good at it, the likelihood of you knowing how to go through that process is, fairly challenging.
Yeah. Sometimes in companies where I worked, it was like the customer service people who understood the data the best. Yeah. Because they understood the outliers. They could just be like, oh, we shouldn't look at that one because that one is just really big, and that one just was on holiday last week. So they have the story behind the data. So I felt like I needed like a customer service agent by my side to explain what is happening there. Because I work with a lot of B2B SaaS companies who just don't have that many customers, right? They'll have between 100 and 300 customers, which makes it very hard to get to statistical significance when you're experimenting with product changes. How do you suggest they deal with that? Does it mean they should just not look at data at all, or is there a solution?
Yeah, so I would say statistical significance is overrated. I've been doing experimentations for 20 years now. We look at, in certain decisions, it matters. So, for example, if you are basically, talking about a large decision that is going to impact the direction of how your company makes progress, then in that case, run your experiments, look for the statistical significance. But in most cases, a directional lead is good enough to make those decisions, in which case, relax the bar, right? At the end of the day, I would say that, is 80% confidence good enough? Or is 95% what you need? Because, if 80% is good enough for you to get a directional swag, then run with that, right? In most cases, you're looking for directional reads. So, simplify your decisions. The more you raise the bar for every decision, the more complex you're making it out to be.
Thank you. That's kind of what I felt, but it's really good to hear that confirmed by you. Keeping all of that in mind, thinking big and small companies, what do you think is the biggest unsolved problem with, I mostly think about product analytics, but analytics in general?
So, in analytics, number one is the last mile of analytics is manual in nature today. So, people are initially the focus was more from a perspective of let's collect the data, let's understand what's going on. But now what has happened is we've gone too far in data collection. We capture so much data that now if I go into Google Analytics, I have 70 dashboards. I don't know where to start, right? And the last mile is manual. So what's happened is because the data surface area has increased, now you need more people to look at it, or you need more automation to look at it. And today with analytics, what I feel is unless you simplified your business to an extent where you exactly know what to look at, you're typically struggling and it's always out of reach. But also with a lot of the tooling that exists, it makes it hard to understand, where to focus and where to understand what's going on.
Yeah, that resonates with me. That's very familiar. I think also like a lot of the literature right now, and rightly so, recommends companies to measure the aha moment and the eureka moment and the habits moment, right? That's the product terms, like what value moments are the users experiencing. But when I speak to real early stage startups, it's really hard for them to get started with it because they don't know what the aha moment is. So they don't know which events to track to kind of start tracking it. So you kind of need to start tracking in order to learn what the aha moment is, but you need to already know what the aha moment is so you can start tracking it. So it's kind of this chicken and egg problem where in the end they just pick something really rudimentary and simplistic and just start tracking it and then kind of go from there. But yeah, that's another struggle that I've seen quite a lot.